This concept has been eating away at me as quickly as the doublethink and hypocrisy that sparked it. I know people have called out many logical fallacies in debate and conversation, like your straw man fallacy, or your non sequitur. After all, the more you know, the quicker you can solve problems in the face of inflaming them. Getting back to the point. Facts should stand atop the meritocracy when it comes to solutions to issues. But the rhetoric of feels and emotions owns quite the global monopoly on the suppression of better thinking amongst the masses. A mix of empirical evidence and rhetoric, slowly weaned to hard fact, is the only gasoline that can prime this kerosene engine of higher debate. A lot of times, hypocrisy is so very evident that the audience wonders how the speaker doesn't correct themselves and implode mid-sentence. Remember that in debate, or in conversation, you are marketing ideas against one another. Something catchy in your argument will trump its actual substance if the delivery sticks in a person's mind. So here, I present to you the Nabisco Fallacy.
Quick, give him that cookie, Sybil.
It's not a cookie. It's a fat-free Newton.
Fat-free? I'm sure we can wait him out.
A cookie is just a cookie, but Newtons are fruit and cake.
A cookie is just a cookie, but fig Newtons are fruit and cake. On the box it says cookies. On the serving description it says cookies. In Nabisco's own language, they claim to be cookies while denouncing that they are cookies. Cookies are just cookies, but fig Newtons are fruit and cake. It's catchy, and their argument has no substance, but its delivery sticks in a person's mind. That is the magic, the monopoly of rhetoric. Care to see where I'm going with this? Some of you might already know. Here's another hint at exactly where I'm going with this, provided, again, by Nabisco.
My lord, the killer was eating cookies.
Quite right.
But my client doesn't eat cookies. She eats fig Newtons.
Case dismissed.
A cookie is just a cookie, but Newtons are fruit and cake.
That's right. This age-old advertisement, this one marketing ploy of ideas, is what lies at the heart of the doublethink and cognitive dissonance of the current year. My goal here is to inflict upon you the Bader-Meinhof phenomenon that is the Nabisco Fallacy. After all, a cookie is just a cookie, but fig Newtons are fruit and cake. Time for social justice. An equality movement is just an equality movement, but this feminism is equality for women. Racism is just racism, but this racist is from a minority group, and their racism is justified. Sexism is just sexism, but this sexist, being an oppressed female, this sexist is justified. Now to enter the fields of ideology. We should all know that killing another human being is wrong. Killing another human being is always wrong, but this killing is upheld by some words a person wrote in a widely circulated text. And this killing is justified by God. It is especially justifiable to kill other human beings when Scripture tells you to, especially if you are a member of a religion of peace. Racial hate movements, racial supremacy groups like the KKK or the Black Panthers, racial supremacy groups are just racial supremacy groups. But these protests are just peaceful and honest, and they don't destroy property, and they're not riots, and they don't call for the deaths of cops in the streets, and they don't divide people based on their race. They don't incite hatred, they don't incite death, they don't ignore their own problems. These protests are peaceful and honest. Saying something like, all lives matter. Well, of course all lives matter. Every life has value. But these lives are black and marginalized. I assume you're getting your fat-free fill of hypocrisy? I'll recite the slogan one more time, and then give you some film from the good old witch hunt days of yore. A cookie is just a cookie, but Fig Newtons, they're fruit and cake.
What is my true duty? To be a sheriff or a Christian?
Both are the same duty.
It isn't as clear to me. As sheriff, I must protect law-abiding citizens and punish criminals.
As a Christian, you must denounce those who break the laws of our faith.
Even if they haven't committed a crime.
Heresy is a crime before God, before the church, and before society.
What if these heretics go to church, pay their alms, contribute to our community? The only crime being their roots.
Who are you talking about? You must tell me if you have discovered the rest of heathens.
What are we supposed to do with them?
Be ruthless. Heresy tarnishes everything. Tell me their names. It is your duty.
He's right. Heresy is the worst of sins.
Worse than murder?
Without a doubt.
My duty is to society, not to the church.
How can you separate one from the other?
Their only crime is being born wrong. Sound familiar?
If I may intercede, sir, I do have to agree with the Countess. The quest for an honorable lineage has become a lucrative business.
My duty is to society, not to the church.
How can you separate one from the other?
Social justice is ideological justice. Wonder why feminism and Islam seem to marry up so well, even though they should be antithetical to one another? These tasty, totally not cookies might be the psychological bread they are breaking together. Wonder why Black Lives Matter doesn't acknowledge black-on-black crime? They are too busy stuffing fruit and cake logic into their brains to realize that all Black lives matter, not just the ones ended by police. I'll add this last part again.
My duty is to society, not to the church.
How can you separate one from the other?
Separation of church and state. Justice and religion remaining respectfully apart from one another. An ecclesiastic society is one where religion and justice are joined at the hip. No, really, they are one and the same. This is the case with Islam. Sharia law is religious law, and therefore above the law of man. Racial groups, like La Raza, dehumanize in a tribal way, saying only their skin color has laws that matter, and the law of other skin colors is not to be recognized. Social justice movements are ecclesiastic. Ideology and practice law being one and the same. Trials by public opinion. Circumvention of due process, because heretics must be burned at the stake. And the sweet fruit chewy retreat of Fig Newtons, which are not cookies, but fruit and cake with a serving size suggestion of 2 cookies. Moving on to the political theater of media and personal bias on our favored to win candidates. Up first is our preordained victor and most fit to serve president, who is president already, Hillary Clinton. A criminal is just a criminal, but Hillary Clinton is female and a Clinton. Thanks to feminism and the Clinton legal team, Hillary has not been convicted of enough crime to keep her from office, so she is clearly the best of choices for America. An equality movement is just an equality movement, but feminism is equality for women. A person is just a person, but this person is white and male. A person is just a person, but this white male is racist and sexist because he is a white male. Because of his race and his sex, he is racist and sexist. So a person is just a person. But Donald Trump, being a white male, Donald Trump, because of his race and because of his sex, Donald Trump is a racist and a sexist. To get your vote, your support, your patronage, and to collect your taxes at gunpoint, the media, the super PACs, and even the college campuses have invested heavily in the Nabisco advertising firm. A cookie is just a cookie, but Fig Newtons are fruit and cake. A vote is just a vote, but your vote might actually matter. The popular vote is the vote of the people, but the electoral vote is fruit and cake. Think of how much of your day, your forehead, your labor, mental and physical, has been purchased by the Nabisco Fallacy. The fruit and cake of his logic weighing heavily around your midsection, keeping your argument and the arguments of others from remaining fit and lean competitors in the Olympic marketplace of ideas. If I'm speaking of a fallacy that already exists, please alert me to it in the comments. If you liked my pitch and think you can do a better job, please include it as a response in the comments. But even more so, if you can more effectively address the Nabisco fallacy, if you can better package this argument or deliver it to a wider audience, please do so. I don't care about credit. I don't care about subscribers or views. I care about fit and lean arguments in the Olympic marketplace of ideas, not the Western obesity epidemic of fruit and cake logic.